When you think about Warhammer 40k, you think about the just absolute horror of the plagues of Nurgle, to the tyrannic hive fleets that tear through solar systems, the laughable cockney horror that is the orcs. But few people, I have found out, know about one of the scariest sectors in all of space. Located to the northern fringe of the Ultima Segmentum, the Ghoul stars are a desolate region of space located in the extreme northeast of the galaxy. Like, this is towards the Halo ring that goes around the entire universe that I talked about in the Halo Stars video. They consist of worlds lit by the cold rays of dying suns. Among the Xenos populations within this area were the Cyphor Fiends, along with other creatures out of primal nightmares such as the Tangoran Bloodreeks. Among the native inhabitants of the Ghoul stars are creatures so alien that they seem supernatural. This region of space was once home to a number of human-inhabited worlds. However, an instant threat is believed to be responsible for the destruction of these planets and accounted for the large number of formerly human-inhabited dead worlds. The inhabitants of the Ghoul stars have been described as being supernatural and pose a threat to the galaxy. Among the most horrifying of threats native to this area of space is the Necron Bone Kingdom of Drazak. In addition, the small independent human empire of the Ashen Claws is located in the Ghoul stars. That is also to say that the Death Specters chapter maintains a constant vigil over the Ghoul stars. Ever since the heresy, this area has had next to no Imperial expedition that has ever returned from the depths of it. The Death Specters maintain the constant vigil, along with the Death Watch of Fort Pickman, and occasionally the Carcharodons. Neither force actually invests much effort in protecting the few Imperial colonies, however, which exist inside the Ghoul stars, instead focusing on shielding the wider Imperium for what remains inside of it. Some regions of the Ghoul stars were conquered by the Imperium during the Great Crusade. Nostromo, homeworld of the Night Lords, was located on the border of the Ghoul stars. Raven Guard elements were sent on a crusade in M31 into the Ghoul stars, where they became renegades, forming the Ashen Claws. Most of the Imperial presence in the Ghoul stars was destroyed during the Horus Heresy, with many worlds being depopulated during campaigns such as the Scouring of the Nostromo sector. In the later parts of M34, a great threat from the Ghoul stars, referred to as the Pale Wastings after the Nova Terra Integrum, is known in the records of the Imperium. What few records remain that suggest that this was a threat of both star-spawned plague and many nightmare engines that slaughtered entire sectors. The Nova Marines, along with 11 other chapters, were dispatched to combat this menace in what was believed to be an apocalyptic struggle. Among the only survivors were the Nova Marines, actually, the others being lost, though the only evidence of this in later years was an ancient stele located in the Imperial Palace on Terra itself that refers to the bravery of the chapter. By the middle parts of M38, the Marines' errant Space Marines entered into a covenant of Akale with the legendary Siad Akale, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, of the Rogue Trader House of Akale. Between this point and until 44.M38, the entire weight of the chapter was added to the Rogue Trader's own army that went on a voyage of war and exploration into the Ghoul stars that lasted more than 40 years. In 977.M41, a Easter splinter of Tyranid Hive Fleet passed through the region where it became disoriented and twisted before heading towards the Oras system. This area of space, believe it or not, gave the hive mind PTSD. That is insane to me. Upon his appointment as the High Marshal, Helbrecht of the Black Templars is known to have led a crusade in 989.M41 against the Cyphor Fiends that resided within the Ghoul stars. Within the span of 8 years, the Xeno populations of the outlying system had been exterminated, whereupon the crusade pushed to the alien homeworld. However, upon reaching the core systems, the Black Templars discovered them to be empty with no trace of the aliens found. Before the mystery could be fully investigated, the Black Templars were called to aid Armageddon as it was being besieged by orcs. In M42, however, the Black Templars returned in the Oparian Crusade, but it disappeared into the Ghoul stars, though many believe they continue to fight on against the enemies of mankind. There is so many things that could be done with this sector of space. I would like to see more. Okay, so the Death Specters are a chapter that I don't really like that much. I would like to see more of their lore touched on because it feels like icky, 90s Warhammer edge, if that makes sense. And I feel like they're doing a discredit to the chapter by doing some of the stuff that I kind of don't want to talk about on the channel with them. But hopefully, you know, that gets removed. I'm okay with that part being taken out of how they recruit new members. But yeah, the area is just dark, depressing, and it's horrifying. I'm a huge horror fan, and this whole entire area just screams opportunity to me. I would like to see, you know, a campaign set in at some point, maybe something to do with, you know, Leviathan, a High Fleet tendril going off into the Ghoul stars and getting tormented. But it's part of the Halo stars, and honestly, it is not the most horrifying part, but it's probably the more consistently terrifying part. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe. I'm trying to upload daily now, so it's been a process to get this done. I took months to stockpile stuff. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.